many M&Ms for a good score? Officially, I am above bribing. No, seriously, you can't bribe me for this. No, I'm taking this very seriously. So, it is the RPG Maker MZ Touch the Stars Game Jam. And this is my take on this whole shebang. We've already had Drifty from Driftwood Gaming, who is one of the judges. Actually, let's just go over because I mean, I am the last to go, actually. So we've got Drifty from Driftwood Gaming. He was the first to go, give his thoughts on it, went over the whole thing. The master of RPG Maker, first impressions and tutorials. Drifty has years of working with the community on bringing their A game to the engine. I personally don't have many interactions with Drifty myself, but you know, seems like an okay guy. Yeah, save the best for last. I was gonna say that, but it seemed a little hubris. Yeah, oh my god. Anyway, then we had Teal from Studio Blue, the mistress of level design and game project management. Teal pushes the community to learn the theory, the why behind game development. Oh great, we've already got a we already have something key a band. That's awesome. Then there was Benny from RPG Maker Cola, if you're not familiar, voice of everything RPG Maker. Benny connects the community with its creators and the game engine with the world through his podcast. I've only listened to season 1 so far. I still need to listen to the episode with Steel and Touch Fuzzy and Studio Blue and Teal. So, you know, eventually I'll get to that. Those are the other 3 judges that are part of this game jam. It's really kind of humbling to be up there with these, honestly, kind of greats of the community. Like, if you think of Driftwood Gaming, you instantly think of the tutorials, you think of the YouTube streams, you think of the things that they've done for the community to further the engine and the hype around the engine. If the music is too loud, let me know. It's a great time for me to pee. Then you've got Teal from Studio Blue, one half of the very impressive Studio Blue, one I'm friends with, which I never thought I would actually be friends with. I remember they were honestly my inspiration for becoming a streamer. So, and then you got Benny Cash. I only very little interaction with him. Only just found out about him, I think, middle of last year. But I've enjoyed his podcast that I've heard. I've enjoyed the guy. He's come to hang out a couple of times. It's really good stuff. So if you haven't had a chance, I highly suggest checking him out. And then there's me. HawkZombie from Twitch. Not officially Twitch, just from Twitch in general. The lord of RPG Maker streams and game writing, Hawk provides a place of relaxation and enjoyment for the community to just chill. Which is a really nice way of saying you guys come here to slum it. Benny, good lord. He went over the top. Anyway, so what is all of this? As I said, this is the RPG Maker MZ's Touch the Stars Game Jam. And not only is it humbling to be among those other greats of the community, it's really humbling for me to be chosen to be a judge for what I feel is probably the next biggest game jam since IGMC. Or more of a jelly. Yeah, just to let you guys know, as I'm going over this, you can ask questions. If it's a really important question, I've turned off all my other redemptions for the time being until the stream is over. You can go ahead and use Feathers to ask me a question to make sure that I address it and that it's not missed, and that I will take time to look at it and actually give it the care that it deserves, such as, is it really a jam or more of a jelly? And I made it one feather to make it accessible to everybody, even if for people who've never been here. So, I may regret it, I may not. We'll see how that turns out. I'll say it's almost as much work as IGMC. Hey, Chessfudgy, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I can imagine, especially with such a huge cash prize. There's the $1,000 shown there is the grand prize, which is honestly like, I haven't seen a game jam with that kind of scratch since like IGMC, when that had the $5,000 prize, which that was insane. This is just as insane. There's $2,000 worth of prizes to be won, but we'll get to that in a second. Change the name eventually. Yes. I wanted to go over a few things before we get into the meat and potatoes of this. though. The first of all is Degaka Games is no more. In name, that is. They become Komodo, and it is Komodo that is sponsoring this game jam. Yeah, time to become Komodo Dragon, exactly. I want meat and potatoes. Hello, Zerochi. Hello, welcome, welcome. What this means for us as creators, practically nothing. It just means we have to change a few things in some credits and things like, say, if you bought a resource pack from them, the change of the EULAs is going to be from Degaka to Komodo. So just make sure you update your credits eventually, but there's really nothing different about that. Just me make it awkward. I'm gonna judge everyone. I'm not gonna make it awkward for everybody. So that's one of the big announcements. The Degaka Games, that used to be just a department in Degaka itself, is now its own company, Komodo. So that's kind of a big thing. So I'm not sure what it means exactly for the future of the resources and the DLCs and all the other stuff there, but I think it can all mean good things, personally. So, say different stuff on Monday night, yeah. The other big thing, of course, is the announcement to the Touch the Stars Game Jam, which we're going to go over in a second. There's also the Summer Sale. Or, did I say Touch the Stars? Yeah, I thought I said Dagger. Summer Sale. So if you need resources for your game and you don't have any and you're not sure you'll be able to get some in time, this is a perfect opportunity to grab some. So, like, yeah, sprites, tiles, music, sound effects, all that good stuff. So, oh my god. Anyway, so that's pretty big. The other really huge thing, which I'm going to get to in the jam, is the status of RPG Maker MZ during the jam. So let's go back to the game jam page. So, what is this jam all about? First of all, it runs from June 21st, 10 a.m. to July 21st, 11:59 p.m. Pacific. I feel like my music is too loud. Anyway. Nice thing is, when you go to the jam page, which I also have here, I'll put in chat for you guys if any of you have not visited it yet. It'll go to your local time. So if you're in some weird time zone or whatever, then you go ahead and it'll tell you the start and end times for your time zone, which is really, I mean, I love Itch for that. I've done several game jams on Itch. I love using Itch for game jams. It makes it a lot simpler than it should be. So, or at least a lot easier than it could be, or less hard. Anyway, so Touch the Stars with RPG Maker MZ. Show the world that your RPG Maker game can stand toe-to-toe with the big boys. RPG Maker is a powerful engine, but not everyone usually feels that way. Generally, well, just take a look at Steam most any day, and you'll see a lot of the lackluster efforts. The purpose of this game jam is to have you put forth your best effort to show the world that not only can you make an amazing game, but the engine is capable of doing so much more. Yeah, it's the quality of life that really makes Itch super nice. So, I'm putting forth as a challenge to you guys, everyone who wants to enter, change the naysayers. Because you can. And some of the best games that I've encountered, even when they use RTP, they push the engine to areas I never knew it could go. And they make something unique and special with that too. Hey, Wispy. Hello, hello. And hello everyone else who I have not said hello to. So why this jam? As I kind of said, it's to kind of push the engine to its limits and show the world that it's not just a hobbyist-only engine. It's not just something that only teenagers and kids in school kind of play around with and make, you know, little meme games or whatever. It's something that honest developers can use to make a great game. So yeah, create an RPG Maker MZ game that looks, sounds, and plays as good as the best of the best. Ergo, touch the stars. Or if you want to think of it this way, reach for the stars. But even if you think you're incapable, it's still important to reach for it. Join the game jam with the best game you can create, because if we aren't always stretching for the highest highs, how will we ever reach the pinnacle of our abilities? Exactly, Studio Blue, yes. Push themselves as developers as well. I can't remember who said it. I think it may have been in either Teal's or Drifty's Game Jam, but even, I'm pretty sure it was Drifty's, even if you don't, like, say, win this Game Jam, push yourself as a developer to create something amazing. Push your limits, push your boundaries to learn something new, to develop yourself so that you come back to the next Game Jam bigger and better, you know, that sort of thing, or in your own personal development for games and whatnot. I saw that too. That's actually pretty cool that they added layer buttons, which is really nice. Okay, it's really, I would definitely say it's more of a jam. So that's make a really good meme game and then enter it. If you could do that according to the rules, I say go for it. If you can make an amazing comedy game and push the engine in yourself to, you know, your limits, past those limits, I say go for it. I love comedy. But there are certain rules you gotta follow, so we'll get to those in a minute. I agree. It's a really good thing to see. Read in space. Read! Hey! How you doing? How you doing? RPG Maker Cola. Let's go. Yes, indeed, we are going. The main thing is your game... Whoop.
Another has risen to join the flock.
Boom.
Thank you for that subscription, RPG Maker Cola. Really appreciate it. 5-month streak. Thank you so much for that support. The cat in your stream was, oh my god. You need to include the theme of touching the stars, but they're going to be pretty lax and open with what that means. So it's kind of up into interpretation. I've heard a lot of people ask, does it mean like reaching for the stars? Does it mean to literally touch the stars? Does it mean it has to be a sci-fi theme? Think about what touching the stars or reaching for the stars means to you as a developer and a creator. Think of what it can mean in your story. It could mean literally touching falling shooting stars, you know, going like, they're like a kind of, like in Conan, they're called star metal, you know? You could use something like that. You could use literally reaching past your own limitations to become better and more improved as a hero or as a country or whatever you want, you know? Think of what it means to you flying a spaceship into the sun. Or as Touch Fuzzy so eloquently put it, fly a spaceship into the sun and literally touch that star. Hey Rythane, how you doing? The classic quest to punch the sun. And your booty famous call it a star. So they're being incredibly open with what that means. They're leaving it up to the developers to say, hey, this is what it means to me to touch the star. To touch the stars. You know, before you touch it. Oh god. And you could make anything you want within that very open theme. It can be an adventure game, it can be a horror game, it can be totally hand-drawn, it can be pixelated. Whatever you want. The only limit is your own imagination. As long as you kind of stay within that sort of theme, you know. Star nipple pasties. And the awesome thing that I was going to get to, you don't have to own RPG MZ to participate.
Sorry, I annoyed you with my friendship.
Oh, Zerochi, thank you very much for that follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the realm of the feathered dead. The one major stipulation in this game jam is you have to use the RPG Maker MZ engine, the one that just released. And so think of this game jam as not only a way to kind of push the engine to its limits, but also as promotional for RPG Maker MZ, and also for Komodo, the new renaming and rebranding of Degaka Games. So, it's made for you. To help facilitate that, during the period of the game jam on the website, RPG Maker will be free for the entire length of the jam. And also, I'm not sure if the sale lasts that long, because you can download a free copy. Oh, well, you have to be logged. I'm not logged in on this one. Perhaps TouchFudger still can. You get it for 30% off on Steam, but I think that's only for a week, correct? You get it free for a week, and then it's on sale for 30% off. Is that for the length of the jam, or is it... Yeah, that's the length that you get it for free off the website, but I was asking about this because there's also a 30% off sale on it as well in case you decide to keep it. That's one thing I forgot to double check with you guys before I started this. But yeah, during the jam, you get it for the entire length of the jam. Okay. I know it's on sale on Steam for a little bit. They're Steam sale for 1 week. Okay. That's actually really good. Steam, I'm sure there are certain limitations to how long you can offer a game for free and etc, etc. So I would highly advise you go to the website, get the free copy there, and I'd even say buy the engine, personally. I've used it. I've toyed around a little bit in it. If you used MV, it's very similar to MV with a lot of quality of life additions, and especially with the updates they just gave it, where you now have layer buttons you just select on the screen there in the little GUI. Really good stuff. I'm not really sure right now. If you guys are asking questions and I'm missing them, I do have it right now where you can use your channel points to ask questions so I don't miss those questions, so. Okay, sale ends on the site on July 12th, okay? But the engine will be free to use, 100% fully functioning copy of the engine. It's not a trial edition, for the duration of the game jam plus 8 days. On Steam, it's free for 1 week, and it's on sale for that week as well, I believe, or I don't know. Well, let's check out Steam. Just double check here. I don't think anybody actually went to the Steam page. I don't even have Steam open. Oh my god. I'm so unprofessional. Steam powered. Steam powered. Okay. If you haven't played Buddy Simulator 1984, I highly recommend it. Okay, so yep, so it's free for 5 days, and it's on sale 30% off for the next 2 days at least. Okay, so there you go. That's the Steam side of things. But on the actual website, it is free for the entire length of the jam. You click that link, and you can get to where you need to get if you want to use it free that way. Awesome, awesome stuff. Yeah, don't join just to win. Join to show the world what kind of great game you can make. I mean, the prizes are amazing, and it's really worth pushing yourself to try to win. I want this to be a close race, personally. But don't just join with the thought, oh, well, I probably won't win, I'm not going to do it. No, do it. Go for it. You never know. Your idea may be that one diamond in the rough that nobody thought of that just wows the judges universally, you know? Anywho. So that's the really cool thing, is that they are offering a free copy of RPG Maker MZ for the duration of the jam, so that you can use it to make that game. I say that's a pretty damn good deal. So even if you aren't familiar with the engine, pick it up, toy around with it, have fun with it, and make something to submit. I think that's a pretty good thing. Winners will be published. There'll be 3 winners in the contest of first, second, and third place, and there's going to be a fan favorite. The first, second, and third place winners are the ones that will become published by Komodo Games. Or is it Komodo Games, or is it just Komodo? It's just Komodo. Do you only get perfect sword entry by developer who never made a game? Yeah, see, look at that. Exactly. Steel brings up an excellent point. I've played Game Jam games that I never thought would have gone beyond certain points, and they totally swept it, you know? In my own game jams, I've had developers, they're like, oh, well, okay, fine, here's this game. And I thought, this is awesome. You just won. Like, what? What are you talking about? I've never won anything before, blah, blah, blah. So I say you go for it, you try it, you have fun. So the first, second, and third place winners, the placing winners, will be published by Komodo on both Steam and their website. That's pretty cool, along with the cash prizes. Now, those of you who may be wondering, oh no, actually, I just missed this question. I've never used HawkZombie before, so I have a huge invented so you can use it to the maximum. I would say no, Nightly. I mean, honestly, if you've used any RPG Maker, you already have kind of an innate understanding of MZ. It's just you're going to find certain things within that engine that are going to be, oh, wow, they made a button for this, or, oh, I don't only have to do this now instead of all these workarounds or plugins that I had to use before. It makes things a lot easier to use, and of course there's going to be things that will be a little confusing because they're brand new, but that's with any new iteration of an engine. If you've used RPG Maker before, I would say definitely 100% you can use MZ to make something really awesome. Okay, moving on. Now, with the whole publishing deal, it's basically you will retain your full rights to your game that you have submitted. These. Yeah, exactly, Steel. Like it's VX to Ace, Ace to MV, MV to MZ. It's just iterations of that same engine that has different quality of life updates, different under the hood updates, different power, you know, different ways of doing things. So MV Ace. Or well, oh, that's how you. Okay, now I understand. Yeah, that's a good way of thinking of it too. Yeah, definitely. And there's also a plugin, or not a plugin, but a God, what's it? Oh, what's the word? It's escaped my tongue. You can search for it. Event search. You can search your events. That alone is kind of worth it. Anyway, the winners will retain full rights to their submitted project. Okay, the one that's going to be published. Komodo just reserves the right to publish it. So if you don't want them to publish your game, unfortunately, don't enter the jam. That's one of the stipulations, is that you have to allow them to publish it because they want to show the world what MZ is capable of. And what better way than this jam and your game itself, you know? So you have to basically agree, yes, I'll let you publish this game. You are free then to do whatever you want with that game. They'll have their copy, your Game Jam copy, that'll be published, and you are free to update that as much as you wish or don't wish. The only stipulation has to remain free. But you can sell yours if you wish. If you take it and you have like this little one chapter sort of game, little tiny contained 30-minute game, and then you want to make it a 40-hour epic, you can charge people for that 40-hour epic. But just the one that you submitted for the Game Jam will be the one that has to remain free, and that's the one that will be published. Well put. Basically, we just want to show off what MZ can do. We just want to market MZ, and by extension, the devs who made them. Perfect. There. I'm a bit long-winded. Forgive me. We've already met the judges. I kind of went over that at the very beginning. But the prizes are also pretty awesome. First place, $1,000. Second place, $500. Third place, $250. And fan favorite, $250. And just know, while the fan favorite is going to be voted on by the community, it is not going to be published by Komodo. Just so you guys know that. Oh, I can't wait either. I'm really looking forward to the entries. And that's also kind of part of why this jam PT posed to assert dominance. Buy a grass card from a scalper. Yeah, you're halfway there. Yeah, exactly. Just, you know, win this jam and then wait for the next one, win that one, and there you go. You got a graphics card. I do kind of feel that the RPG Maker community as a whole kind of does get a bit of a bad rap. I'd say maybe 30% of it is kind of warranted. There are the very lazy, sample map full, no real thought given to them sort of games that are just pumped out, you know, ad nauseum. But then there are those diamonds in the rough that really push the engine or even just push storytelling to a really high place. But it's looked down on because of the engine it's used. That shouldn't happen. Nobody looks down on all Unity games because it was made with Unity. They just look, oh, that's an asset flip, it's garbage. And that's kind of the same thing that RPG Maker has, but it's a blanket for the entire community, which is unfair. True, but you know, you can say the same thing of Unity, but I don't see the same sort of vile happening with Unity either. So I really hope this helps to elevate RPG Maker to a kind of engine that people really look to and respect. Would effort be put in mind when judging or just quality? Like if a team of 6 is the same quality as a single person team would be taken in mind. As far as I could tell, a lot of the judges are going to have their own personal criteria, and I'm going to go into what I'm kind of looking for in this game jam. We're not going to know if it's a team or not, unless you specifically state on the Game Jam page, hey, this is a team of 6. So we're not going to really look at it as, okay, this is only one person doing everything versus a team of 6 doing everything. And even then, I mean, this is going to maybe sound a little harsh, but we're looking for the best of the best. So if you could pull that off with one person, awesome. That's amazing. Wow, way to go. If it takes a team of 6, then it takes a team of 6. So, yes. And see, that's actually probably a pretty good idea too. I'm probably not going to either, because I want to remain as unbiased as possible. I mean, I know a lot of people in this community. A lot of people in this community. I'm friends with a lot of them. So I don't want that to affect how I view the game I'm playing. So I hope that kind of answers your question there. And 4 very different judges. I would definitely say we all have our very own unique styles, which I think is really good. And I think I'm the only judge to actually get in front of a camera. Anyway. Yeah, most of my own person 3 months. That is incredible, actually. That may change soon. Never do that again. Danger. Hey, Dress, how you doing? Sorry, what Cash looks like a pixelated cat. My mistake. Okay, so let's go over the actual rules and conditions. Okay, here's the nitty-gritty. Develop on contest entries must be started after the beginning of the contest, June 21st, 2021. Pre-existing assets like DLC or custom created can be used. To explain that a little further, I like this version of Hawk. Hawk is choosing to brawl. To explain that a little further, basically, you can't actually work on the game itself until after the contest was started, which was yesterday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. But any pre-existing assets that you have the legal right to use, DLC, commissioned work, tile sets, music, whatever, if you can legally use it, and you're putting it in this, even though it was made, let's say it was made for another project that you scrapped, you can use that for this one. Just don't remake the same exact project that you had started before or something like that. Make something new. This can contain... Games must be submitted by the deadline, 11:59 p.m., July 21st. No late entries will be accepted. Make sure you do not submit at the last minute to avoid missing the deadline. I cannot stress this enough. I think I've done quite a few drafts. I can't stress this enough. I've had game jams myself I've run where people have come into issues uploading. And they waited till the very last minute, and then they weren't able to enter because the time passed. Other game jams have allowed late entries. I've even allowed late entries. This one is very staunch and very strict. If it does not get in time, it does not get in, period. So make sure, I would say make sure your game is done at least a day ahead of time if you're going to push it right to the wire, to make sure you can make it tested, make sure everything's working, and get it uploaded properly. And even after it's uploaded, up until the submission period ends, you can make what changes you need. But after that submission period ends, you cannot adjust anything until after the winners are announced. Load a couple days before, test it a week. Yeah, exactly. And patch as you go. So yeah, that is true. I mean, if you start early enough, you can afford to do that. But I would definitely say test your game before you put it up. Upload it a couple of days beforehand. So, yeah, this timestamp is what will be used for that. Exactly. So even a little hiccup and it's done. So. Oh, wow. That's pretty good. Like yeah, treat it like homework. Yeah, it's boring, but it has to be done. Games must be created only using RPG Maker MZ. Either one that you already own or the one distributed with this contest. The nice thing is the one that they're distributing for free is the full featured edition of the program. There are no limitations whatsoever other than the time limit you have to use it. If you've already, I think I saw on another stream, if you already have used a trial for RPG Maker MZ, this one is basically a second trial that you can use, and it will not affect, like, having done it before won't affect that. You may have to uninstall it if you've already installed it, and reinstall this new one. I'm sure Touch Fuzzy can clarify if I'm incorrect, but I'm pretty sure if you've already used up a trial, you can use this again. It's kind of sus. but you have to use MZ. Period. That's it. This is a game jam about MZ and RPG Maker, so you have to use that specific engine. Any plugins are fine if it works within it, but no other game engine. So if you use the Visio Stella, if you use MV plugins, which have been updated to work with MZ, that's perfectly fine. But the engine you use to make the game must be MZ. That I have no idea. MZ. Because I only live in Canada. I'm not... Okay, so Knightley just asked, how can you tell if it was made in RPG Maker MV and then ported to MZ if no one tells? I think there are certain ways. And I think I missed it when Rythan asked that, because I don't think he used a feather to ask it. But, I mean... I would really prefer people not do that. I can't stop you. I'm sure there's ways to tell, and it will get you disqualified if it's found out. But... MZ, is it? Oh my god, is it actually MZ? I've been live for 37 minutes, and I've been calling it the wrong freaking thing. Yes, Z is American. Z is Canadian, I thought, but... Okay. Well, okay, so we gotta quit. I have to start over because it's MZ. No, I'm joking, I'm joking. But yeah, I would like Touch Fuzzy to kind of touch on this. Is there, like... Because Knightley had just asked, if you make your game in MV and then port it to MZ... what happens? Like, is there a way to see if, you know, that it was done that way? If you noticeable, we could tell. Okay, that's all we need to know. So I wouldn't recommend it at all. Like, I can't stop you if you try, but if Fuzzy says that we can see, then we'll see. I trust that man when it comes to this stuff, 100%. Just at this point, throw the whole thing away, Mary. Anyway, moving on, rule number 4. Games must be at least 20 minutes long. Judges will only be required to evaluate a game for 1 hour if it passes the screening stage. And what that means is basically, you know, passes the, is this okay? You know, does it need to be disqualified? Has it done something wrong? Has it broken any of the rules? That sort of thing. Any game over 1 hour will only be judged for the first hour, even if the judge decides to play for more than an hour, which I think is completely fair. MZ, so it'd be easier to tell the difference between someone saying MV and MZ. Yeah, you're right. MZ does make a good difference. 20-minute boss battle trash. And I'm pretty sure there are ways to tell with the code too, right, Thane? I think there's certain things that you can kind of see. But I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna trust Fuzzy on this one, that they'll be able to tell. So I would not, like, and honestly, why would you do that? MZ is, like I said, MZ to MV is the same as VX Ace to VX. It feels like you're saying MZ. It does, doesn't it? Oh, God. Fine, I'm going back to MZ. I'm a rebel, whatever. If it's fun, it's fun. So I would say just stick with the engine. You're getting it for free. Please just say MZ. It's an awful American. God dang it. All right, fine. I'll get to your question in a second, Knightley. Any game, so... Fine. MZ. There. Oh my god. I'm trying to get through this. You guys are crazy. Would you play more than an hour if it's ending up going to be that? I can't answer for the other judges, or even for myself. I will give each game that hour it deserves if it needs it. Up to that hour. Depending on what kind of timing I've got. Because I'm going to get to my thing as a judge in a little bit. After I'm going through all this, I'm going to tell you guys how I'm going to treat this as a judge. It's calling Zed. Isn't that from Power Rangers? Oh my god. But I can't answer for the other judges. But I will at least play those entries for up to that hour as necessary. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that in a second. I have more details. Champion in League of Legends. Oh my god. Games must include the theme of touching the stars. This can be interpreted in any way the creator feels works. Next episode of MZ. God dang it. As I kind of touched on earlier, it's really open to interpretation. It could be literally reaching for the stars. It could be flying into the sun. It could be the heat death of a universe as the sun expands. It could be pushing yourself to the limits to reach those goals, those stars. You could be trying to literally touch a celebrity in your game world, because there's a rule about this I'm going to go over. Things like that. They play beyond the judging. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, Kia. No, because that's another rule. Oh yeah, fan games. Yeah, we're going to get there. Just, you guys are getting ahead of yourselves. It's okay. It's okay. So you have to use that theme in some way. You must have the right to use all software, resources, and tools involved in the creation of the game. The free version of RPG Maker MZ available through this game jam includes the rights to use the software and resources included for the purposes of this contest. That includes but is not limited to digital art creators, DAWs, debuggers, animation software, sprites, particle systems, models, plugins, code, music, the whole laundry list. If you purchase an asset, check to make sure that the End User License Agreement, EULA, allows for its usage in this manner. Many of them that are free to use have a very strict stipulation of non-commercial projects only. Check with the creator if you're unsure that a contest would be considered commercial or not, because you have the potential to win a cash prize. Ergo, you're getting some sort of compensation for your work. Check to make sure that they're okay with that. Let's see here. Just checking something real quick. Anyway, and also you may use resources sold through Komodo in the Degaka shop or via Steam. As I told you, they're on sale right now, so go and check out that sale. And actually, here, do I have? Yeah, no, I don't. Where's? Didn't I have the sale page up? God dang it! Hold on a second. Ah, here we are. Here, I'll put a link to this in the chat so you guys can check that out. Yeah, definitely check out the EULA of the creators to make sure that you are allowed to use their content in this manner. Even for paid stuff, double check, because sometimes it may say you have to use it in this very specific way. So, yeah, touch funny. I'm trying to see if there's a specific rule about copyrights or if it's rolled into this rule 6 here. But basically, if you don't own the legal rights to it, whether it's a resource pack that you purchased or an original character that you created, don't use it in this jam. Like, you can't make a Sonic fan game. You can't make a Rule 15. Okay, thanks. We'll get to that in a second then. Plagiarism. Yeah, so if you don't own the legal rights to it, like you yourself don't own the legal rights. Hey, how you doing? It has been a while. Don't use it in this jam. Always watch when a streamer is going to a new page. Just type in search. But you should not be. Again, you can use resources sold through Komodo in the Degaka shop or via Steam. You may only use other user-created resources that are available for commercial use. So what does that mean exactly? I'm not bringing up to live on a stream. So if you purchase assets, is it... Like, does that mean you can only use assets that are available for wide use? Or that was the only... This one always kind of confused me just a little bit.
Another has risen to join the flock.
Jeez. 18 months? Man, that stream baby is getting old. Little Hawkina is walking already and causing so much mischief. I had to stop her from getting into the kitty crutchies litter box just the other day.
It's great. Thank you very much, Wolfie, for that subscription. 18-month streak. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that support. I really mean it. Okay. So it kind of ties into what we were talking about in number 6. as long as the user agreement says, yes, you can use this for a commercial project, great. They're just kind of saying it's a little bit more of a reiteration of that is what it sounds like. That's awesome. Thank you. That's long as I've been alive. Thank you so much for that, Wolfie. Really, really. And welcome, welcome. This is a very special stream tonight. We're talking about the RPG Maker MZ Touch the Stars game jam. So okay, that's basically what that means. All resources used must be properly credited. So even if it's a free to use pack, make sure you have the proper credit in either a text file packaged with the game or in the actual game credits that you create. I believe either is okay. I just want to double check. Make sure that, like, a text file with a full list of credits is okay as well. It's special, Wolfie. Thank you. I think. Thank you. I think. Your entry must not infringe on third-party that's the rule I was looking for. Number 10. Third-party copyright or trademarks. Unless you personally own them, no go. Nope, not gonna happen. So that means no rips, no music from Castlevania Symphony of the Night, as awesome as that would be. Use things that you either have the legal rights to use or that you've created yourself specifically for this jam. That are not copyright. There's no limit on the size of the development team. You can have a 1 person or 10 plus people. Keep in mind that prize winnings will only be awarded to the single user that submits the game. Whoever uploaded the final file, basically. Even if using a team account. That kind of ties back to another rule, Otaku. You can use previously used assets that you own, but you have to start development on the game, a unique game, during the game jam period. Okay, excellent. So, yeah, unless you are Konami, you can't. Exactly. So as long as you have some form of credits, it is customary to have them within the game. But as long as you have them somewhere where it's very easy to find and very easy to read, you're good. For a game that doesn't exist. Now, what this means is that your team can be any size. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming here and clarifying a couple of issues. I really appreciate it. Take care. Have fun at your meeting. Do we have Castlevania? I know, right, Val? Oh my god. Ugh, don't get me started. I'll go on a tangent and we will never get back to the game jam. But only 1 person will get the prize winning. So it's a good idea to discuss amongst yourselves who's going to get what and how it's going to be divvied up. But we'll get to there's more legal stuff later. We'll get to that in a second. Grins evilly. Amount of worksheet time period if you copy the project, add a couple things that likely won't count. Yeah, exactly. Like, make something unique. You can. No, we got taken care of. It was just the credits thing, and you already answered that, so we're good. Pachenko scale. Oh my god. Anyway. Size limit. Yeah, so you can have as many people as you want in the team, but only the person that uploads the owner of the account that uploads the game is the only one that will get the prize money. Contest participants can be involved in up to 2 submissions. This means you can work on a solo project and collaborate with another team. You can work on 2 team projects, or you can even submit 2 separate solo projects. Now, I actually have a question for. I wish Fuzzy was still open, but maybe Steel can answer this. Say you submit 2 projects as a solo developer. Can you win 2 prizes? I think it's just Steel right now. Because I don't know if there's anything here that says that. If you're starting with, okay, that's good to know. So you can submit 2 solo projects and you can get 1st and 2nd place, or 1st place and the fan favorite, you win. You win that regardless of whether you're on a team or, well, I mean, what was I saying? Not regardless of that. So yeah, if you win, you win. Sounds good. Algebra. Sounds good. There we go. We'll leave it at that. So you can be up to 2 submissions. You can be part of 2 submissions in any way, as long as you're part of that team. Now here, there's also a little stipulation. if a team is using your resources, say you made a music pack or a tile pack that you have out there for sale, or you were commissioned to make something for this game jam, but you're also doing your own entry, that will not count towards your 2-game limit because you're not actively part of that development team. I would guess. Okay, same holds true for commissions there. That's what I wanted to clarify. So if someone comes to you and commissions you during the game jam, you do the product for them, hand it to them, and you're also working on your own game, that does not count towards your limit. But at the same time, you also, I don't think, would be considered part of that team unless you have some sort of... that gets a little more confusing, I think. Yeah, so if you're not directly involved in the development of the game... Okay, exactly. That's all I needed to know. Wispy! Just ask for $1,000 for the commission, then I win either way. All files required to play the game must be included in the download. If the game doesn't run or it crashes because of missing files, it'll be disqualified. No exceptions. So that means test your game. Make sure nothing's missing, make sure nothing's misnamed, make sure it's all working. Because if a judge hits a point where it's crashing, I can tell you for myself, I'm not going to continue to muck about with it and try and get it to work. That's going to be it. If I've only played 10 minutes of it, then it doesn't count as a 20-minute game for me. I'll make a note of that. If it's only 30 minutes worth of the game when you have an hour of content, I'm going to judge it up to that. And if it gets disqualified because it crashed, then it gets disqualified because it crashed. Test your deployed version, as Steele just said. Because you can test your game in, like we were playing and you do the little play thing as you're using the engine. But if you aren't testing the deployed version, you're missing bugs. Trust me on that. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be the same way. If it crashes, I'm not going to retry. Rerun. Hawk is awesome. So, but you know, if you test your game 100%, then you should be fine. Just make sure you test that deployed version because you will find bugs that you will not find otherwise. Check your move routes. Check them again. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Oh, there's some questions. Okay, we already answered that one. Already answered that one. Our entrance is going to receive ratings reviews from the judges. Okay, I can't answer for other judges. Okay, and I won't try to. I personally, after the winners are announced, I do know for a fact that when the winners are announced, all the ratings will be released. So you get to see how the game's rated after the winners are released. I personally will also release my feedback that I wrote for these games that I'm judging. I was actually probably going to do the same thing. Actually, I'll get to that in a second, though. I don't want to get ahead of myself because I want something I want to tell you guys while I'm doing this game jam. All right, rule number 14. I think that's because it just really forgot to face the spawn point. Yeah. No 18 plus content. Okay. This includes strong sexual themes and content, graphic nudity, or extreme portrayals of violence. If you're unsure, please follow the ESRB guidelines, and there's a link right there. What this means is you cannot have, like, pornographic content, written or otherwise. You can have some sexual innuendo, like maybe just a little bit written, but you can't actually show it. And no actual graphic violence. Like, if you're gonna have something happen off screen, like, and his head was sliced off screen, fine. But if then you put in blood gush and his entrails were ripped out from the neck stump, and yeah, no coochie, sorry. Yeah, like a little joke, nothing more. So no NSFW content, no hentai content. No, his became extras. Like, a joke like that would be fine. But if you go into extreme details or a very bloody, gross game, no. You can have a game that deals with death, or you can have a character die. Fine, that's okay. Within reason. Just nothing that's really extreme. If you're worried that your game may be too extreme, I'm sure if you reach out to one of the judges, I'm not going to say for sure, I personally will, if you come to me and say, hey, do you think this is too much? I'll kind of guide you. I can't really tell you one way or another not to do it because it's, you know, I feel like maybe that'd be overstepping as a judge, but I can kind of say, hey, don't do that. Maybe tone it back a bit. If I'm not overstepping my bounds as a judge. If Steele says I am, then I won't do it. But just kind of use your best judgment, people, you know? Okay, yeah, I'll just give my personal opinion. I personally would not put that in there. You know? So no linky games. That's a good way of putting it. That's a good way of putting it. Like, while I say, hey, I might not do it, but I can't say for sure if it'll get disqualified or not. Helps judge me, yeah. Yeah, there's the link there if you guys are really concerned about it. It gives you information about the ESRB, how they rate games, the rating process, things like that, the different ratings. I say check it out if you're curious. Oh, shoot. It opened up in the same window. God dang it. That's not what I wanted. All right, back to the rules. Come on, let's go. Troubleshooting this game in an elementary school. Yeah, which school? Plagiarism or any other forms of cheating are grounds for disqualification. Let's make a clean and fair competition for anyone. Like I said, this kind of goes back to the can I use MV and port it to MZ? That would be considered cheating. Let's say you've had years of experience in MV. You know it forwards and backwards. You just click a little button and oh hey, it's an MZ now. Yay, it worked, haha. That's cheating. I mean, come on. It's cheating. Don't steal other games. Don't take, you know, Umbral Spirits. Don't make that game. I mean, be original. Make something that you would be proud of. Something that you would be willing to show your parents. Yeah, maybe hold back a bit if security is being called. No. Steal. I'm gonna show my parents anything. Okay, maybe bad analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Games must be available in English, but you are welcome to include other translations. Just make sure the default language is set to English. I'm gonna be honest, I only know one language. It's English, and I barely know it to begin with, so do yourself a favor, make sure it's in English. Jeez, kill my fish way to kill a key. Oh my god. They're of the devil. Video games are of the devil. Esper. Your game submission must be able to be downloaded and run on a Windows system. You can include additional downloads for other platforms, but only the downloaded Windows version will be judged. So keep that in mind. As far as I know, all the judges have access to a Windows-based system. I myself have one. So we have to be able to play it on Windows. It's not going to be, you can't submit a browser game. I'm not going to play your game in the browser. If you want to offer that version, fine, but allow me to download your game as well. Make sure you have that option set. If you don't, I'm not going to play it. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. The rules very clearly state it has to be downloadable to a Windows system. Canadian English, oh good lord. What is that? I believe Canadian and the Queen's English are acceptable. Barely. No representation of current real-life figures in your game. That includes but is not limited to political or religious leaders, celebrities or influencers, or people within the RPG Maker community or their personas. Basically, if the person exists in the real world, you may not represent them in your game. Even with permission. Okay? I'll come for you. Wait, what? Please, no. No. Unfortunately not. And that's to kind of both protect, I believe, the Komodo from liability and also yourself from liability. And also, a lot of these subjects can be very polarizing. And that was actually, I believe, discussed. And I think if you put yourself or those on your team in the game, that's okay. Self into more fist fights. I believe that Touchface said that if it was yourself or someone on the team that's working on the game, put in as a little Easter egg, that's fine. Yeah. That's just a self-insert, basically. That's okay. But you can't make a game starring me. You know, you can't make a game starring, you know, Donald Trump or, you know, Joe Biden or, you know, some other world leader. You can't make, you know, I'm going to be a dictator. Yeah, you can make a dev room, certainly. And you can't include, like, you can't say Steel or Teal or any other community member or your best friend or whatever. Now, for non-living people, I think that's technically okay, because then it's kind of like historical fiction. Maybe Steel can kind of clarify a little bit. Rose? I don't care if people make fun of me. If it was my jam, I wouldn't care, because it's me. But it's not my jam. I'm merely a judge, a humble judge in this jam, so we're following their rules. I would assume historical figures would be okay. So if you want to make like a game set in the Civil War, for example, you'd be able to, I believe, but I'm thinking it's fine. I kind of with Steel. I think it'll be okay, but we'll find out. We'll get back to you guys. I don't know. It's all the first one that popped in my head. I'm sorry. And which Civil War, huh? You don't know which Civil War I'm talking about. I could have... I was thinking back for... Oh, jeez. The Marvel Civil War, obviously. Did Canada have a Civil War? Civil War, right? Russia. Didn't they have a Civil War? Anyway, moving on. So no living historic or no living people, period. Anyway. Maybe. Alright. Contest judges have the right to penalize or disqualify submission for reasons including, but not limited to, any violation of the above rules. Judges' decisions are final. So. Time to murder. Time to Kermit murder. Taku, no. Any recent. Okay. I'm gonna clarify that a little more. Like you could have a game about World War I or even World War II, but you can't have a game, I would say, if it's a recently deceased political figure or some very polarizing political event that happened recently, you know, like in the 70s or 60s or something like that, I'd say that's really touch and go. It could possibly be disqualified, but something that happened like 100, 200 years ago, I think would be perfectly okay. And judges' decisions are final on whether they'll penalize or disqualify submissions. So, no Michael Jackson Day. And that's basically just saying if we feel, and I'm sure the judges will discuss it amongst themselves, if we all feel universally, hey, this game, it's really pushing the envelope here. I don't feel comfortable with it. Exactly, Steel. Yes. Even if you use fake people, don't use a real event like that. That's so recent. I would say 100%. Because we'll discuss it amongst ourselves. We'll be like, you know what? I'm not comfortable playing this. I think it should be disqualified. And if we all agree, that's going to be what happens. So, prize conditions and legal. All right. As I said before, prizes will be awarded to the user who has submitted the game. Winners will be responsible for all taxes and fees. Not the Steam fee for publishing your game, though. Just to let you know, it's just fees like, say, bank transaction fees, PayPal fees, however they're giving you the money. If you have to pay a fee for that, that's up to you to handle. Whereas part of the prizes is to be published on Steam, they will carry the fee for that. Taxes and fees associated with their prize package. If you guys want to make sure that I'm not missing questions, just use the one feather as well. Can there be reference to other projects like how there's a small version of BG's game in my game? I think that's okay. Like a little cameo of a game, I think that'd be okay. Like a little mention, oh, hey, I just played the Book of Shadows. I think that's okay. Yeah, and Steel's got a good point. I'd say, like, the past 30 or 40 years, I'd stay away from that. What do you mean, Honey Nut? Like, the war on drugs is fair game. God. But I would like Steel to kind of weigh in on that about references to other projects. I personally think it's fine, but I just want to make sure it's not going to get you disqualified. But what do you mean? So like if you have someone else's unique character, that's, well, I mean, technically once you've created something, it's got what's called a soft copyright, at least in the US and North America, where if you've made something, you're the owner of it. So if you have permission to use that legally, then I say go for it, as long as it is something unique and not like a Sonic character or a Fursona sort of thing that's from like a cartoon show or something, you know. If that's what you're talking about, Honey Nut, I believe that would be. Prize package. If working on a team, please discuss how prize winnings will be split before winners are announced to avoid potential legal issues. And that's just more advice than anything else. You don't want to have $1,000 given to one person and suddenly like, oh, hey, how are we going to divvy up the money? Well, I did the most work, so I'm keeping it. No. Discuss it amongst yourselves. Figure out how you're going to divvy it up if you win. And that way there's no confusion. Maybe even drop a tiny little legal document. Hey, I, blah, 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 of team blah, 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 who have made this game for this game jam, agree to 30% of the prize winnings. So-and-so agrees to 20%, 20%. Just lay it all out so there's no surprises and there's no infighting, you know? But the game jam organizers are not responsible for splitting the prize money, and they don't want to know. They don't care. They're just going to be, hey, awesome game, congratulations, here's your prize, have a good day. They're not going to want to touch any mess, all right? So figure it out amongst yourselves. 90-10 final offer. Yeah, I would definitely figure it out beforehand. Just keep it light, cameo at the most. Like, I just played the Book of Shadows, but not the character. Yeah, I would think, for me personally, if you have permission to use a character from someone else's RPG Maker game, since it's not a real person or a persona, I personally would have no issue with that, but only if you are allowed to use it. So that means you have to have credit in there saying, so-and-so, cameo, copyright, da-da-da, used with permission. And I'll be okay with that. Answer the question up there, okay. Yeah. Thanks, Steel. Or if you mention the game. But I can't answer for the other judges. I really can't. I would say mythology is perfectly fine. Definitely. Yeah, so again, be careful with that. Be really careful. I would say modern religion. Modern religion can be really, really polarizing, so I'd be really careful with that. Again, if a judge decides to disqualify it, it could be disqualified. So I'd be really careful. But I personally, I will not have an issue if someone has a slight cameo from another game or mentions a game. But again, I can't answer for all the judges, unfortunately. So I would have... Like, again, yeah, that's one of the kind of bad things about this jam is it's very subjective to the judges, but it's also a really good thing because it's all pretty cut and dry. There's not going to be any hidden, like, oh, well, why was this disqualified? Well, it's because of this, so. Hey, Centaur, how you doing? It depends. Is it making fun of or being bad towards a real life religious cult? Or use your best judgment. Be careful with that stuff. I think if it's handled in a very respectful manner, Wispy, I think it's perfectly fine. I'm just worried about things being handled in a disrespectful manner. That's the kind of things I would disqualify. So, it's questions for fun. But they're good questions, kid. They're good questions. Okay. I'm going to read what Steele just said. This is important to understand. The judges, myself, Drifty, Benny, and Teal, not Komodo or Steele or Touch Fuzzy, have the final say. They have the ultimate discretion, so please, if you're unsure, you may want to reconsider it. We're all pretty reasonable people as judges and as people. But, you know, some things are going to make us uncomfortable. And if you think it might breach that, avoid it. You can still make an awesome game without having to make it focused on, you know, Catholicism and the Catholic Church, or on, you know, like the last presidential erection. The last presidential election. Things like that. Yes, Wolfie, this is just a special stream specifically for the Game Jam. I'm gonna get to that. Don't worry, Marion, I will get to that. God. Last presidential. It's crazy, you know? Let me get through this. Okay. No purchase necessary to participate in the contest. Must be at least 13 years of age to register and submit entries. Additional restrictions on age and nationality are subject to the contestant's local, state, and or national laws. So, if you're not sure, check it, folks, because we're not going to check it for you, and we're not going to be responsible if you are breaking laws in your local area. Creators retain all rights to their respective works. The contest runners, Komodo, reserve the right to promote the game on the appropriate websites, blogs, social media, etc. as outlined in the prize packages. And what that basically means is, you know, if they publish your game, your Game Jam version of the game, they have the full rights to do that. To put it out there, to promote it, to say, hey, look what was made with MZ. Awesome, this dev team made it for our Game Jam. They won first place. Awesome, hey, cool, look at this game. And they have the rights to put it wherever they want for promotional purposes. You still own full rights to that game, but for this contest, you give them, you're basically signing away the right for them to use it as promotional material and for them to have the right to publish it. So make sure you're okay with that. Yeah, I'm not answering that. Anyway, so I've kind of touched on all these main things. If you guys have any questions at all right now, while I explain how I'm going to go at it as a judge, please use... Oh god, you clipped it. Please use the feathers. Ask the question. It'll cost 1 feather. The channel point, use one of those to make sure I address your question. Me as a judge, what I'm going to be looking for is kind of what the contest is pushing for. Best of the best. I want a game that it has good use of mapping, story, graphics, well, not graphics, but like sprites, music, sound, story again, gameplay. I want over 30,000. You could theoretically, yes. Yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, now is the time to ask them. Shh. You guys are screwing me up. Okay, no. Starting over. I'm looking for the best of the best. I want... Me 3! I want you guys to wow me. I am ready to be wowed. But for me personally, the things that kind of set things apart, like what kind of puts a game on another level, I'll give you 2 really good examples. The first one being One Shot. Probably one of the most amazing games I've ever played. And at first glance, you would not realize it was an RPG Maker game at all. But they actually were able to make things happen outside of the game. They were able to incorporate new game aspects, the story, the graphics. Everything about that game was phenomenally done. And it was almost all custom. Now, to flip that at 180, Umbral Souls. Now that game used resource packs, it used RTP, but the story and the presentation were, like One Shot, phenomenal. It still remains one of the best games I've ever played. Like those 2, whenever I think of RPG Maker games that are my favorites, One Shot, Umbral Souls are always in that top list. You played that on that charity stream, right? I can't remember if I did it on the charity stream or not, but I played it on stream, yes. Loved it. I also streamed Umbral Souls. And that was a game, literally, it was made with resources. I don't even know if there was even a custom thing, like graphics-wise, that was put into Umbral Souls. But it was still so well done. So you can make an amazing game just using the resources at hand. So keep that in mind, all right? Those are the kind of things I'm looking for. I'm looking for things that, oh my god, that's amazing. I love this. Oh wow, the story is great. And I am a very story-oriented guy. I've seen people do a lot in a month. And I think you guys, I have faith in this community. I think you guys can really, really do something amazing and spectacular. So, is there a plugin that lets you use MV animations in MZ? So is that against the rules? No, plugins are fine. And plugins that are made to, like if you have, like if you can use MV assets in MZ, that's fine. You just cannot use MV as the engine, period. Is that what you mean, Eric? Oh, does it? Okay. Well, no, don't use copyrighted materials, but most of it is. Well, wait. You mean it uses ripped stuff, or? I didn't know that. I did not know that actually. I am Kia, 100%. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I just want to make sure. Yeah. So as long as you use MZ to make the game. Where you get the assets, as long as you can legally do so, does not matter. Okay. Yep, that's fine. And you can use MV plugins that have been made to work in MZ. Those are fine as well. Okay, yeah. No copyrighted material. And you know what? Fine, King shame me for that. I am a story buff. I love story. Story is my bread and butter. So that's what I look for in a game. Phenomenal story. And yeah, if you have the legal right to use the materials and assets, that's fine. But if you do not, don't use it because you will get disqualified. That's all I'll say about that. Any other questions before we wrap it up, folks? Because I think we pretty much hit everything on the head. Unless Steel, if there's anything I missed or anything. Yes, I didn't realize that I used the copyright materials, but you get what I'm saying, though. Most of the other stuff was resource and RTP, and it still made an amazing game. So... Like, don't focus on that part of it. Focus on what I mean, what I meant when I said it. Like, you can still make an amazing game using just the basic resources, as long as you push the engine to its limits. You can really make something phenomenal. Just that nitpick that we... What nitpick? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll go there real quick. What nitpick are you talking about? Okay, clarify. Okay, so Steel clarified. Okay, oh, okay. Once the submission period ends and the rating judging period begins, you will not be able to upload any updates to your game until the period ends. The public will only see your final submitted game for voting on the fan favorite category. You will not see the list of submissions until after the submission period ends. So you're not going to know what games are in the jam until after it ends. No, I know what a nitpick is, but I meant what needed to be nitpicked. I couldn't remember what you meant. Like what item needed to be nitpicked. The final results of the jam, including the winner of the fan favorite category, which we cannot change, just to be transparent, will remain hidden until the results for every place is tabulated. That's so we can reveal every winner at once. Afterwards, those rating results will be made public. So the ratings will be public in this jam. Oh, okay, cool. All right. So, if you guys, and okay. As a judge, here's my commitment to you as a community. I will play and I will stream. I can stream as long as I don't like say how I'm going to judge a game, right? I just want to make sure. And I will stream every game that is given to me. Okay? After the winners have been announced, I will then stream every single other game that was entered and give feedback on it. Wispy. I'll do it. I am fully committed to that. That is my personal commitment. I'm not saying it for any other judge, but I personally, while the game jam is happening, okay, perfect. While the game jam is happening, I will have my group of games I'm supposed to judge. Okay. And I will stream those live. And I'll tabulate my scores offline. Okay? I could probably do that. But beyond that, after the game jam is over, I will do my best to stream every entry and give feedback on it. So, just so you guys know. All right. Is there any other questions? Any other little stipulations, little things you guys are curious about, things you want to know about, things I missed? If I missed a question and haven't answered it, please let me know. 700+ games for your judge played every game. Oh god. Oh god. That. Whoo. Yeah. Hey, Varen, how you doing? That's insane. See, I was gonna say I was gonna stream every entry, but I'm gonna wait till after the winners announced because I'm going to be going crazy. And who knows how many entries we'll get. We could get 100, we could get 200, we could get 300 entries in this thing. So, if you don't mind, I would love that. To kind of really explain how it's going to all kind of break down. Because I think it's like we each get our own group. Okay. Then like the top half of those are swapped with someone else and then they vote them. So you... Go ahead, Seal. Go ahead. I think you have a better understanding of it, and I'll just reiterate it. I'll just read what you say. Because I think that's the best. So you guys understand how the judging will work in this. Because one thing about this one is I feel it's going to be really transparent compared to other game jams after the winners are announced, because we'll get those ratings that were missing from the last one. I personally will give feedback on all the games that I've played, because I think that's really important for a lot of games. Like, hey, here's what I liked, here's what I didn't. You know, it doesn't have to be super in-depth, but just kind of, hey, here are my thoughts. So, when Steel comes back with that information, we will go ahead and let you guys know, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. The whole purpose of tonight's stream was specifically for the game jam. So, I thank you all for joining me. But any other questions? I'm more than happy to answer them. To the best of my abilities. No, the purpose of this stream was specifically to be about the game jam. Yeah. I say go for it. I mean, worst that happens is you don't win. But you do it. You got a month and 8 days to play around with the engine, see if you like it. I say go for it, just for that alone. That's awesome. And it's a pretty robust little engine, too. I think I like it better than NV, honestly. If worse happens, he gets disqualified. Yeah. Yeah, so no games about Margaret Thatcher. Okay. When all the entries are received, they'll be split into 4 groups. So 100 will be split into 4 groups of 25. Each judge will get that many games. They will then take the top half, so like 12, and move them onward. those 12 would go to another judge. So like Hawks to Teal and Teals to Hawk. Then they will elevate the top half of those, so 12 gets reduced to 6. Then the swapping will change, so Hawk to Drifty and Drifty to Hawk. This will continue until the judges have the top 3. So basically, all the judges will rate almost all the games. So... for Hawks, okay, Parades. Yeah, enter for me, but guys, I'm so excited for this. I am chomping at the bit to try these games, see what you guys put forth, see what you guys attempt to just push the engine to its limits. I'm really, really excited for this. So, I don't think it will, because I think if it gets to the point where we've played all the games, all the judges have played all the games we're deciding, I think we'll pretty much discuss amongst ourselves the very nuanced sort of like, which game would you put above these two, or this one, or that one, or sort of thing. So, but at the end, yeah, it'll be so that the judges will play all the winners no matter what. Okay, yeah. So the judges there will be periods where we probably will be discussing amongst ourselves what we feel about a game, why we feel this one deserves the rating that we gave it or whatever, which I think is great. And I love how it's kind of subjective, and there's 4 completely different types of people judging this. So we're going to get some really interesting games that maybe not would have happened, you know? Maybe not would have gotten in the top with someone else. Like maybe a game I would never have picked will get in the top, but then I'll play it and be like, hey, you're right, this is really great, sort of thing. So, anywho, thank you for joining me, everybody. I really appreciate it. If you have any other further questions, I've got a special channel on my Discord set up specifically for the Komodo Game Jam. You can ask it in there, and I'll try my best to answer it. Just at me on the Discord. Feel free to join the Discord if you haven't already. Oops, hope so I did it right. And I want to see Discord. It's a Discord. It's the new D&D chat system. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I want to be wowed. I want you guys to wow me, and I want you guys to put forth some really amazing stuff. So, again, thank you for joining me. Thank you to Komodo and Steel and Touch Fuzzy for organizing this, for sponsoring this, and for allowing me to be a judge in this. Like I said, this is... I'm going to be honest, this is kind of the highlight of my streaming career right here, is to be picked for an official game jam like this. I'm really honored about this. Like, I can't put it into words how I feel right now. It's amazing. And yes, how many... Like, when I started, there were 100... So 22 have already joined in the hour that I've been streaming, and since yesterday. That's amazing. So get to it, guys. Join up, make a game, wow me, win yourself $1,000.